You're listening to Swingology, a lifestyle podcast. Swingology is for adult entertainment only, and we're not licensed professionals. Our show features adult themes, language, and descriptions of sexual acts and desires. If you're under 18, this is not the show for you. The ideas and opinions expressed are those of the speaker only and not of any company or entity, and should not be considered professional advice. Now, let's stimulate your mind.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Swingology, a lifestyle podcast. We are your hosts, Tori Kist.
And Steve Kist.
And today we're going to be talking all about day 2 on the Bliss Cruise, November 2024. So, Steve, yesterday we woke up pretty early because that's our routine, and I was craving some coffee.
As a good husband and as the recipient of an amazing night the prior night, I volunteered to get up for my wife and go get her coffee. So I went down to the promenade area to where the coffee shops were. It was dead. There was no one walking around. There was lots of workers, but very, very few, if any, ship people walking around. So I jumped into the coffee line, got my wife her requested coffee. And then we came back to the room, uneventful. No, I didn't bump into anybody. There was no conversations. It was very quick, in and out kind of a thing.
Okay, so all that makes sense because everyone was totally staying awake the night before. I remember in the hall, not everyone, but there was some passengers just talking very loudly in the middle of the morning. I don't know what that was, like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, there was passengers walking down the halls. There was people laughing, joking, yelling. Yeah. And then, but the reason for that is because the playrooms got shut down an hour early than they were planned to.
But here's the thing, Steve. We're on deck 12. The playrooms are on deck, 3 or something? So, and there's nothing on our deck besides cabins. So it's literally just passengers. Like, there's not like the casino or something.
Yeah. So instead of being able to go play at playrooms because half the playrooms got rained out, the guests had to go back to their cabins if they wanted to go continue to play.
That makes sense. Wow.
So
I like to travel with a little travel white noise machine. So Steve turned that on, and that helped me kind of drown out the outside hallway noise. So if you're like me and need a little background noise, don't forget to bring your travel white noise machine. So we don't have a lot of time to talk about today's episode, to talk about today's episode because we're rushing off to an excursion. So we're going to give you guys the highlights, and this episode's probably going to be a little bit shorter than our other episodes. So we're going to dive straight into the speed dating at 11:30. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's 2 time slots for speed dating, and we were told to get there an hour early. So we did. We got there about 10:30, and it was empty. It was at one of the Dazzles, which is one of the 2-level clubs that they have here, overlooking the beautiful Central Park. It was pretty beautiful place. So we got there early, and it was pretty empty. So we thought, okay, well, we're going to leave and come back. Thank gosh we still arrived early because the place got filled and they had to start pushing or turning people away at about 20 minutes.
20 to 25 minutes from the start time. They shut down entrance.
So we found a cute little nook booth and made ourselves comfortable. We got a number, so we were table number 9. And the way it worked is one side would transition from table to table and the other side would stay put. So we were staying put, and it was 3 minutes to ask whatever questions you wanted to and exchange information inside that 3 minutes. If you took longer than 3 minutes, then they were going to come with the microphone over to your area and like roast you and embarrass you. So like you couldn't just stay there longer. So get up and go. That's basically how it went.
Yep.
It was very fast. No, I'm an introvert, believe it or not. And so by the time it was over, half an hour went by, and it was 10 couples just came through, and we repeated our spiel, and they repeated their spiel, and some people we vibed with, some people we didn't vibe with, and those were some long 3 minutes.
Yes. So of course the people that you knew right off the bat when they sat down, that 3 minutes was too long for that. I was like, I don't need 3 minutes to know that. But it was still good getting to know people and like learning about their experiences so far. We still asked them like, tell us about your favorite experience on the ship so far.
Yeah, like some of the older crowd that this was their 5th Bliss Cruise, and my first response was, okay, so do you still pack 5 suitcases? And they said, no, actually, we don't bring our gym clothes anymore. We only pick and choose which theme nights to celebrate or to dress up as.
Right. And so that gave us a little bit of insight that we wouldn't have had. So we deeply appreciated that.
There was one or two connections that we wish we could have had more time, and one of them we did have some more time. Steve, do you want to talk about that?
Which connections are you talking about? Yes, one of the yeah, I love your noise there. So one of the couples that we connected with, it was 3 minutes. There wasn't a lot of vibing time, but there was some physical attraction that was 4-way. And so when we get back to our room, that particular couple messaged us, and we chatted for a little bit via Messenger. We kind of just decided, you know what, we're just going to send an invite out to our room and see if they...
Yeah, we'd love to host you at 3:00 in our room. And they said, we'd love to come by.
And it was like, okay. They did. At 3, they got off their...
Yeah, they were volunteers for Bliss. So if you wanted to get a discount on your Bliss Cruise, you can look into Bliss Cruise volunteering. And so they had a shift, and they had to finish their volunteer shift, and then they stopped by our cabin, and we vibed a little bit longer, and then kiss and tell. I don't know.
Yeah, we had of course we kiss and tell. So it was a great 4-way swap. There was great energy. Keep in mind, we played for like about an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a good amount of time. The thing about it was like me and my wife had just, when the invite came out, we had just finished a round of our sex.
Right.
It was like at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And then the invite came out for 3, and it was like, should we have like pushed that out, a little bit?
Oh no, I was doubting. I was ready
3.
to go.
Yeah, of course you were. Poor me over here. Just going back to back. I'm like, okay, well, let me regroup. But it was okay. It was good.
It was lots of fun. So after that, I basically crashed because, like I said, I was an introvert, and then I played for 2 hours basically at that point. So my body just crashed. And what did you do when I fell asleep? Midday. You ran down a couple doors and we were vibing.
So while my wife was sleeping and I'm enjoying the view on the balcony, we got another message from a couple we hadn't met yet, and they requested that now would be a good time for a little meet and greet. I let them know that my wife was out, but I would be happy to go meet them. It was conveniently like 5 doors down from our current room. And so I walked down, knocked on the door, and it was essentially it's a hot wife couple. So the husband likes to watch his wife play with other men, and his wife has had her eye on me for since she got on board. Apparently they had requested eventually a couple hours of my time for this evening.
Yeah, so you left a nice little message for me on the mirror. So if you bring a dry erase marker, you can leave messages on the mirror for your spouse, just so you know. And so that's what he did. And so I woke up within probably 10 minutes after he left. I ran down to that door and was like, hey, how you guys doing? I introduced myself. And we're going to fast forward a little bit. What happened then?
Locked out of my room.
Okay, guys. Okay, so I ran down and I said hello and greeted the couple, and I vibed for a little while, and I noticed it was getting kind of late. So last night was red carpet formal night, and I wanted to get all prim and pretty. And I had the spa package. So I told Steve, hey, I'm going to run off to the spa. You guys finish vibing. And he was like, okay, that's great. So I ran off to the spa, and you guys know, if you're in a steam room or a sauna or even using the giant shower there, you can't have your phone with you. So my phone's in the locker.
Yep. And so it was about 10 minutes after my wife left the room where we had agreed that I was going to go meet them after the comedy show, and they were going to go to the comedy show. I left the room. I came over 7 doors down to my room and realized I don't have my key on me. Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I knock on the door thinking maybe my wife's inside the room. She'll save the day and open the door. Naturally, she doesn't open the door. I know she's at the spa. So I'm like, now I have to go all the way to the spa. Went down several floors, walked across the ship, got to the spa, and I get up to the front desk. I was like, my wife is here. I just need the room key from her. After several minutes and dutifully searching and blah, 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 the spa people were like, your wife isn't here, sir. And I'm like, what do you mean she's not here? She's here. No, she's not here. If she were here, her room key would be in my possession. And she busts out all these room keys with women's names on them. And I'm like, Okay, touche. I suppose she's not here. So I went back to the room thinking, you know what? She's probably on the balcony. And so I pound on my door really hard, hoping that she would hear me from the balcony. Nope, nothing. And I'm like, damn it. So now I'm just like sitting outside my room like a sad little puppy that's lost its way home. The room service guy happened to be walking down the hallway. I'm like, oh my God, there you are. I need in my room. I've locked myself out. And he's like, oh, sure. So he let me in, and I still thought my wife was out by the balcony.
But you know what, babe? Before you got into the room, you accidentally, because you were texting on your phone, so you weren't really paying attention where you were. So you knocked on the door, but it ended up being our neighbor's door. Yeah.
So the neighbor's door down, a couple doors down. I again, just imagine I'm looking at my phone. I'm not paying attention to what room I'm at. And then I look right, and then I just knock on the door, assuming it was my room. It wasn't. And then the neighbor had their door open, and they were like, can we help you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to get into my room. And they're like, your room? You know, kind of like tilting their head off to the side. And then that's when I looked up at the room, and I'm like, wait, that's not my room. My room's right there. 2 doors down. And then they're like, nope, that's totally not your room. That's our room. And I was like, my bad. And so that just made it more embarrassing, on top of the fact that once I got to my room, then I had to sit outside. And
then about 2 minutes later, I arrived fresh and clean, freshly showered.
Yeah.
We went to dinner, and that was yummy. And the comedy show, and then we split up. As you guys know, if you listened to the last episode, we split up sometimes in the night, and we reconvene in the morning on the podcast live and tell each other our stories. So after last night's comedy show, I was drained. My nap that I had during the day didn't give me that much energy. So I went to sleep as I do. And Steve went out and found mischief. So the expectation was that he was going to find the 7 Doors Down couple and just vibe and see what's going on with that. And Steve, take it away.
Okay, so first I have to finish up the story, because there's going to be listeners that are like, what, your wife wasn't at the spa. She was at the spa. If you go to a particular part of the spa, you do not need to turn in your name tag or key card.
Correction. I did. But there's 2 counters. You went to the front spa counter. I passed that one, go down the swirly stairs, and go to the second spa.
Say swirly again.
Swirly. Anyway, go down the swirly stairs and go to the second counter. And that's where my name tag was.
So, yeah, I never would have figured that out.
No, you wouldn't.
All right. So my wife, I'm thinking I'm going to go 7 doors down, right? So and they're ready to play. Like the wife is like wanting to be used, right? I put on some gym shorts and a little t-shirt. I'm thinking I'm going to take these off like 5 seconds after I get into the room. So my wife was like, no. I am not letting you represent us as a couple. You walking out like that. Put some effort into yourself.
Gym shorts and a t-shirt for swinging night. That's unacceptable.
So,
and I told him I would like a man to put effort into his clothing that I'm going to be taking off to have sex with him. Like, put some effort into the clothing. You're not going to be wearing it for 2 seconds.
And so naturally, as my wife is sending me off to have sex with another woman, I'm like, of course, love, I'll dress up for you. And so I've got these cute boxers that says choking hazard on it. And then I'm like, it's formal night, so let me wear my vest with no t-shirt.
I told him what to wear.
Yeah, she did. I'm not going to lie.
So black boxers that say choking hazard, and then a black vest. That's it.
And then
Sexy.
She had recommended I put together a little bag, because she does not like to be woken up when she's sleeping. It's like a little thing. So she was like, I don't want to hear you searching the room for things. I want you just to be able to leave and come back.
Well, just like any mother hen packs away the kids to go to school, I was like, what else do you need in your bag? Do you need lube? Let's get you some condoms. Do you need...
Yeah, and she used that voice too. So of course I'm like, thank you, dear. Yeah, so condoms, the lube, our lanyards, all that stuff. So I walk down the hall, 7 doors, and they are not there. They're supposed to be there. We had agreed after the show, the comedy show, I was going to walk over to their room and they were going to be ready.
I low-key had a feeling they weren't going to be there, because there's so many people on the ship and there's so many things to do. It's so easy to be squirreled and unfortunately miss your appointments.
Yep.
So we pivot.
And so just 20 minutes prior to that moment, when we were walking back to our room, I had seen the couple that I had played with the first night and did a little wave, and they had messaged like, "What are you guys doing? What are you up to?" And so I took that moment to finally open my messaging apps, find out what's going on with the people of the ship, and I realized that they had sent that message. So I responded like, "Hey, my wife is sleeping again, and I'm out and about. Would you guys like some company?" And they said, "Yes, absolutely." So went back to their room. Absolutely had another wonderful experience with them. It was a lot shorter than the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what she said.
They she didn't have the endurance as she did the first night. I think they had probably played a little bit before I got there with another couple or wherever at a playroom or something. I'm not sure. The point is like after 15 or 20 minutes they were done. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not done. So I like, you know what? I'm going to walk to the playroom as a single guy. See what happens.
Okay.
So I walk over to the playroom. I did a lap around both rooms that was available for single men. And then I ran into the couple I was supposed to meet.
Oh, yay.
7 rooms down. I see them. I said, "Hey, I sent you some messages. I was looking for you." And the wife was like, "Oh, really? You were looking for me?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. We were supposed to meet you at your room." "Oh, yeah. And then the husband like kind of grabbed her and like took her away a little bit, like pulled her. And I'm like, okay. And so I thought maybe he was pulling her to one of the playrooms. So I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be doing in that moment.
Right.
I kind of felt a little odd. Like, wait, why did that happen? Kind of like
are they going away from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of dragging her to some friends that I guess they had been talking to or whatever. And so I just kind of gave them some space. Eventually they circled back, came back to me and was like, "Yeah, we're going to continue meeting or vibing or whatever, and then we'll catch you later." And I'm like, "Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Catch you later." I left them and went back to the area where like people walk in to the playroom.
The entrance.
I figured, at this point we had kind of like had some conversations with a number of people on the ship, and I figured I'd run into someone eventually. Mm-hmm. So there was a couple that had been eyeing us for a little while, and they sent us a message on the messaging app, and I received it in the morning at that time. Like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah. We would love to meet the two of you."
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. I responded like, "Listen, I'm available. My wife is sleeping. I can come by and we can vibe or whatever." And they said, "Sure. Yes, absolutely. Come by our room. Cabin number is this." I'm like, okay. Went straight to their room. Wow.
Okay, well, come on.
Was
spill the tea.
not expecting this.
What?
So
What? Do they have like a presidential suite?
No.
Okay, what was the wow?
Came into their room. They had all the lights off. They had the, sometimes rooms can have like the aurora effect on their ceiling. So they had this whole light show going.
Aww.
So the room was totally like psychedelic kind of a vibe thing going on there. And they were already going at it.
Okay.
Right? And so that was amazing enough. And so she jumps off and I'm like, wow, he's got a decent sized cock. She's the cutest faced person I've ever seen. It was like, oh my God, you are cute with a gorgeous smile.
Oh, yay.
She was like, she's like a 5'4". I call them like fun size people,
fun size.
And yeah, totally like, and she just came up to me with this beaming smile, full of energy.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
Yeah.
And then like in person and blah, blah, blah. And then, so the husband's like, yeah, I mean, you look good for a guy. I'm not going to lie. And so in this profile picture, and again, I haven't met these people before. The guy looks like he's a massive bodybuilder with tattoos all over his body.
Okay, like a Maui.
So yeah, like a Maui. And so I'm expecting this tight, gruff man, and he comes up across as a very like gentle-hearted, empathetic, gentle person.
I want to meet this person.
And he was like the nicest guy I think I've met on this ship so far.
Nice.
And I couldn't get over with like how excited these people were just to see me. We start kissing. Like I start kissing the girl immediately. There was no vibe. It went right to kissing.
Okay, DTF.
Yeah. And then she starts going down on me. Amazing at that. She's so good at that. Things progressed from there. She was, and here's the thing about these people. They are nymphos.
Oh my gosh, that's your type.
So
I love that.
We had matching primal energy for hours. And it was just amazing. And we just started at some point during our play, we had realized that we were like primal matches for each other.
Yes.
And it just kind of like fed into like, I cannot believe we met. Like, where have you guys been all my life kind of situation?
Live near us? Like,
they live in Oklahoma.
Oh my God.
And I was like, when are you moving to Florida? Damn it. And they were like, next week.
That's awesome, babe.
It was an amazing time. And then, you know, of course, there was conversations that had afterward during break periods and aftercare and all that kind of stuff. So, which, you know, she appreciates all of because again, they're nymphos. They love anything with physical touch. Yeah. So they just soaked up all the attention, praise, and it was an amazing time. I'm so
happy that you had that great experience, especially with more nymphos.
Yes. And so they're like, of course, you know, like meeting fellow nymphos, it was like, they're like, yes, come back anytime, 2, 3, 4 times a day. We're all down. Do it. It was like, yes, please, I will. Yes, certainly. And they're like, bring your wife. And I'm like, I will, I promise.
Oh my God.
And so, yeah, it was amazing just meeting people where you're like, these are my people. And they were like, you are our people. And it was like feeling like you found like a little community and you belonged. And it was amazing. And it was like, they're both the same kind of just positive, pushing people.
Exuberating positivity, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're just batteries of positivity and they just exuberate it. And they can't help it, but it just flows out of them.
That's you, babe.
I know, but like, it was them too. And I'm like,
awesome.
Anyway.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well, today we are about to jump off this cruise ship at about 7:20 a.m. to go explore Dominican Republic. And we'll tell you all about that tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Well, we're going to record it tomorrow. You guys, remember, episodes are released the 1st and 15th of every month.
So we just had to interrupt our recording because we were running late to our excursion on day 3. So real quick, we just came back from our excursion. We're going to finish up day 2 and then see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so I wanted to include a little tidbit. Did we already talk about that we swing earlier in the day and that's what drained me? I don't think we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Okay, well, after the...
Well, you're right. I don't think we did now that I think about it.
Okay.
I don't think it got brought up.
After the speed dating, we made a connection or 2 or 3. And one of those connections came back to the room and we vibed it out and we swang. And after we were swinging, we were just like rubbing each other. And someone made the comment, "Oh, you're an aftercare bear." And I looked over at Steve and I was like, "Aw, you're an aftercare bear. That's adorable." And that makes total sense because if you haven't seen Steve, he has a hairy body, which is called a bear. So he's an aftercare bear. I thought you guys might like that term as well. So it's a term of endearment for someone that gives aftercare to playmates. Maybe it's a BDSM scene, maybe it's a sexual scene, maybe it's not. But that's my new term of endearment for Steve.
Oh my God. I'll just wear it as a badge of honor, I guess. I like to take care of people I play with.
Absolutely. And what else did you have on your notepad that we wanted to include?
We had a reserved dinner, a specialty dinner yesterday.
Okay, so on the cruise ship, there's some specialty dining restaurants that you have to pay extra for, and it's worth it because you get cuisine that you can't get in the main dining hall. And so we decided to book that, and we ate at Chops Grill, which is a steakhouse, and their lobster bisque is so amazing. It's so delicious. We actually decided to save some and use it as the dipping sauce for the steak because the steak comes with 3 different
bolognese and peppercorn sauce and this other stuff. But listen, what you really need to do, because the lobster bisque isn't really thick. It's kind of,
creamy.
It's not runny,
It's
but
creamy.
it's like a light cream. Okay. And so when you apply the light cream onto your filet mignon, oh my God, that's what they need to do as a sauce.
It was amazing. So it beat the steak sauces they offered. That was good. And then after the specialty dining, we went to the main theater. And I don't know if anyone is familiar with the comedian or the stand-up comedian. His name is Rob Little, but he likes to go around, especially on swinger cruises, at least the ones that we've been on. He's been on them as well. And he takes pictures of, this is something he prepares months in advance, and he gets consent of the people months in advance. He takes pictures of people that they donate to him, and he modifies the picture and adds himself in a ridiculous way so the picture looks funny. And so a friend of ours was on the big screen like 3 different times. Her friend was on the big screen, and then I was on the big screen. So that was fun. And then he had his little stand-up comedy, ditty. What's it called? A ditty?
It's a stand-up comedy, and it's pretty funny. It is adult only comedy.
Well, of course, it's a swinger cruise.
Yeah, and that topic comes up a lot. So
that was at 10 p.m. He has another show at midnight tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to certainly try. That, I think, sums up our day yesterday.
Yep, I agree.
So you guys will hear about what is today? Day 3?
Day 3.
Day 3 next time. Please tune in to Stimulate Your Minds.
Stimulate your mind.
Thank you so much for listening to Swingology. I'm truly honored to have you as a listener. If you liked what you've heard, consider subscribing to our podcast or connecting with us on social media. The links can be found with the episode show notes. This is Tori Kist, reminding you to stimulate your mind.